Hold on, I've lost my... I've lost where my OBS window is. Don't worry, I'll find it. It'll be okay. Everyone just you know, just hug yourselves. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure we'll have figured it out. That was so loud. Found it. I found it. It's okay. Everyone calm down. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream. Today, we're here with Case Closed, a cold case RPG by Wim Lawson. If you've been on the channel, following the channel for a little while, you are familiar with Case Closed, a cold case by Wim Lawson. We have played this before. This was actually our very first solo TTRPG I ever did. However, I decided, hey, why not run it again? I want to run a bunch of TTRPGs this month. Why not? ¿Por qué no? So that is what we're up to today. We're playing Case Closed, a callback, and also, hopefully, an improved callback. I just finished posting things over on Twitter and Blue Sky. If you don't follow me there, make sure you do over at pbplaysinside.bsky.com. pbplaysinside.bsky.com maybe? I don't know, I'm not sure. It's pbplaysinside. If you have it, it'll be there. You know what? I don't love copy and pasting what I wrote on a tweet, but just this once I will. Whenever I post on somebody else's Discord, I like to just keep it low-key. But you know what? This time, I won't. Oh, shh. But anyways, I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. I'm very hyped to get back to it. This was, of the three I've run so far on the channel, I think this was still my favorite. I just really enjoyed, the vibe of this game, you know? Now, I'm almost there. Give me one quick second. I'm going to grab these two, gonna do that. And we're gonna post this. It's game night, baby. And I did the @ here. I did the @ here. I did it over there. Okay, I think we're good. I think I can just turn that off now. Get my rules back on the screen. I wish I could... So my voice meter is this big when I do the alt tab and I have all my windows pop up, and it takes up so much space. I wish it wasn't there. Anyways, welcome to Case Closed, our Case Closed RPG. So today we're going to be encountering quite a few suspects, quite a bit of evidence, all fairly old. But to start off with, we need to find out a couple of things. Who am I? And what exactly do I stand for? So our very first roll of the night is me turning down this music. You guys let me know if it's too loud for you guys. I can always turn it down for me. But if it's too loud for you guys, it's a little hard to tell. First, we have to find out, who am I? I'm a detective, of course. But what kind of detective? So our first roll, if you guys are unfamiliar, Case Closed, a cold case TTRPG, is a 2d6 system. Therefore, for almost every decision we're going to make tonight, it's going to be 1 or 2 d6 that are going to be rolled. There are some fun tables in the game, so some of the rolls are going to be interesting. And I have edited this game to fit something I would like to play. In its original form, there are a couple of more gruesome... gruesome's not really the correct word. There are some choices and roles you can make that don't really fit my fancy. There's also a supernatural... Maybe I should have done the supernatural rules this time. That's neither here nor there. There's also a supernatural version of this game you can play. You can find this game over on itch.io. Ooh, what are the chances I still have that? Zero chances I still have it. Oh, hold on. I might still have the command on this. I don't know why commands are always the last thing I think of when it comes to these games. No. No, not on that page. I had one. Oh, it's set to Wretched Wastelands. Because that was the last game we played, huh? Hold on, we can fix this. We can fix this. But I'm very, very excited to see who done it. I hope you guys are also. I had to take a quick second to just use my brain. Man, let me tell you, last night I tried to send a friend a message to get back to them, and my brain was broken. There we go. Now I have a case closed. It's a really fun game. It's really nicely laid out. And I look forward to going over it with you guys right now. So our first roll of the night. Who are we? What is my occupation? My occupation is retired. I'm an old woman. This is, my old hoorah. And what's my relation to this case? That's a great question, youngin'. Let me tell you that right now. None, absolutely none. I just really like true crime podcasts, and I thought, hey, why not? They can do it. If a man can do it, why can't I? Oh, all right. So we are an older detective with just, just for funsies. Not a lot to do off in those retirement homes. Next, we're gonna find out what is my special move. Not breaking the hip, that's what it is. Let me tell you that right now. But truly, what is our special move? Our special move is something we do when we roll 2d6 and we roll a 12 when we roll, aka 2 6s. So if we roll a 12, then we get to do our fancy special move. In this case, it's a sidekick. My grandbaby. They just love their grandma. They really love their grandmama. And I told them, well, with my free time, I've started to look into some of these cold cases. So cold, in fact. It seems like they've been in the back of the freezer for a couple of decades. And my kids always want to clean out that freezer. All I'm saying is that meat's still good. I don't care if it says 2014 on the expiration date. Our sidekick means we can send them off to gather information for us. And that means we can gain or lose a piece of documentary evidence. There are 3 types of evidence in this game. There is physical evidence, or real evidence, which is physical evidence, fingerprints, murder weapons, bloodstains, DNA samples, things that we know it's factual for the most part. It is a cold case. Who knows how old it is. We will find out soon, though. We have documentary evidence, and that's evidence that our newspapers, video footage, financial reports, and all the evidence we are working with is evidence collected by other investigators from the original investigators. So for the most part, there's not much we can do to get new information out here, except just finding out where our suspects are now. The last piece of kind of evidence is testimonial evidence. So therefore, oral or written statements, such as observations, opinions, first-hand accounts from others. There's also, which is really important for things like motive, intent, and where individuals were prior to the crime being committed. So that is definitely subject to bias, inconsistencies, and, open scrutiny by opposite counsel. So it's not factual evidence, testimonial evidence, but it's as best as we can get to get a full picture as to what happened in this case to have it not be solved. Well, we have investigator Grandma PB on the case with her grandbaby, who's playing sidekick on this particular adventure. Now, we've got to find out something about our victim. Who is our victim? And what happened to them? Oh, our victim. Our victim is going to be well, I can't think of a last name. Poor victim in this case is going to be one Janie Newson. Janie Newson, a middle-aged, unemployed individual whose reputation was ruined well before their death ever occurred. How curious. No wonder no one looked further in this case. How did they die? They were drowned. Or they drowned. Let's add a little bit of speculation here. Just because they're dead of a potential murder doesn't mean someone drowned them. What about their body? Ooh, there was signs of struggle on the body. Signs are looking towards someone drowned them. Sorry about that. Where did they die? Or how was the crime scene? It was unorganized, I can imagine. Depending on where they drowned. Where did they drown? The woods. Curious. In a creek in the woods. And good old Janie Newsom got Bridget Terabithian. Janie Newsom. A victim with no real friends, not a good reputation, ruined before anything. Now, we need to find out. What happened to this case? Why is this case cold? What happened to make this case unsolved for so long? Well, firstly, the victim was already missing prior to their death. Can you imagine Have I told y'all that the word victim does not look like a real word to me anymore after having typed it so many times in the past week? Now, why did this really become unsolved? A contaminated crime scene. I mean, it was unorganized, so I guess that makes sense. And most importantly, when did this case happen? 5 or 75 plus years ago? Either way, I've probably been alive that long. What happened to when did Janie Newsom died? 50 years ago, I was but a young lass looking for love when poor Jamie Newsom died. In fact, now that I'm thinking of it, I think I remember reading about Janie Newsom in the paper. A middle-aged woman gone missing. I mean, we all had our theories as to what happened back then. And, I'm gonna hurt my feelings thinking about how long ago 50 years ago was. Back in 1974. Back when everything was peace, love, and I don't remember what the third thing was. This old man's getting old. I would say it was a little bit odd for this person to hold on. Grandma's gonna do a little bit of a background action real quick. Don't mind me. Hopefully that went through. Anyways, back then when it was peace, love, and love, a lot of things happened to the men. Oh, the women. Mostly the women. So, we all had our thoughts, our opinions. But, we've heard a little bit about Janie. The real question is, what happened to the people that were suspected of killing her? Our very first suspect. I have to come up with a name for all of these people. I am a fool for not having a name generator up. I did not think about it until just a second. Oh man, it's this guy again. He just can't catch a break. That's really funny. Let me roll up. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm creating these photos right now. And I'm uploading them as we speak. And then I'll place them onto Roll20. And then from there we can work forward. But first I have to roll all 4 suspects. All 4 suspects! I'm rolling a D21 because that's how many NPC cards I have. Oh, why is your image fucked up, ma'am? There we go. You're suspect number 2. And then I cannot wait until I have to come up with names for these guys. It's gonna be great, everyone. All right. Suspect number 3. No, I said number 3, not number 4. Oh. The drama. That's gonna be. Alright, let's see what these numbers are. Our first suspect. We rolled a 5, so that's the second table. Then number 6, we rolled twice again. We rolled twice. Okay, alright, well, we'll roll twice. Let's see. I don't really remember what roll twice means. Hold on, everyone. Just hold your horses a little bit while I open up the PDF and see what the heck I'm supposed to do here. You know, you think it's not gonna happen to you until it happens. And that's what my grandmama, she used to tell me. Roll once, read twice. And you know what? I should have taken that to heart. That's why you should always listen to your elders. Because they've lived a longer life and they've been through the situations you have not been through yet. Now, for our case closed by cold case, I was really hoping for romantic partner and stranger. Honestly, you know, we got 4 suspects. There's still time, Boudet. That's our background. I've already got our victim. I need to see what happens here. Already read that. Suspects. Oh, goody. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so happy to find this out. I'm the one who did this. I did this. It was me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. That means we get to interpret this in whatever way we want it to be. Therefore, I'm gonna roll. Once that's gonna be a mulligan, we're gonna roll again, and this is gonna be the real one. So we got 1, and then we got 5. Oh, another, you're a sibling again! Suspect number 20? You are a sibling. That is too large of text. I need you to calm down, sir. Sir, calm the fuck down. Sibling. Hold on, I need to grab this and I need to delete it. Then I gotta move this up. Oh, good, I just get to keep on keeping on. Alright, you are, that is what our relationship is. Then, what is your status, good sir? Imprisoned? Why are you imprisoned, sir? Somebody get this man's lawyer on the phone. Someone's got some explaining to do. Alright, what was your attitude towards our victim according to the investigators previously? Oh, double 6s. What a shame, because that means we gotta roll twice. 1 mulligan, 1 real. Alright, we got 2 and then we got 5. So no. We're okay. Calm down. Envied. What a classic relationship between siblings. And last but not least, what was your attitude towards the case? I got a 3 and a 1 cold. My god, I think that's exactly almost what we rolled the first time around with this gentleman. Now, you are a sibling. Let me just make sure these are all in the right spot. Well, Bude, I rolled retired. I'm a retired investigator with no relation to this case. Therefore, I just really like cold cases. I really like those true crime podcasts. My nephew put me on them when I was younger, and so our suspect is Janie Newsom. So you are gonna be Johnny Newsom. How you spell Johnny? Don't care. Johnny Newsom. Well, Johnny Newsom, we continue on. Oh, the retired detective who just can't stop investigating. Exactly. You try to retire me. Shame on you. You catch me for investigating. Well, then that's shame on me. You stop me from investigating again. Well, you don't want to find out what happens to you, Sonny, when that goes down. All right, suspect number 2. This young looking lady. What do we got going on here? What was your relationship to our a parent? Oh no. oh my. Well, first we got a sibling, now we got a parent. I mean, I see. You know, times were different back then. It was all about peace and love, but also, you know, people hated other people. This is a rough family, sure is. Poor Janie Newsom. Now, what is your status, ma'am? All right, we're rolling real high today, son of a bitch. All right, 2 and 4. We got died of natural causes. You know, makes sense. It's been 50 years. I'd be surprised if you were alive. Died of natural causes? Alright. Vin Diesel the family. It's for the family. What was your attitude towards the victim, ma'am? Cautious? Why were you cautious? What did, poor little Janie Newsom have that caused you to be so cautious around them? I mean, they did have a terrible, irreparable reputation when they died. So truly, what is it that Janie did? And what was your attitude towards the case? A 2 and a 4. Insensitive, ma'am. This is your daughter. I do not care. What happened between you two? It's not posthumous. Humans. Posthumous, we have a little respect around here. This is how you know these aren't some southerners. You know, these people are from the north. Alright. Now, you are the mama. Therefore, your name has to be an even older name than these. Let's have you be Margaret. Margaret? How do you spell Margaret? Margaret? We have Margaret. Sure, we'll do almost Harris and Yankee. We'll do Margaret. I need to delete it anyways because I need to do the last name. Good old Margie. Margaret Newsom. Alright, we got Johnny Newsom, Margaret Newsom. Now, sir, who are you to this family? And please don't tell me your family. 3 and 4. Ex-partner. I knew it just by the look of you. Ex-partner. Now, ex-partner. CC somehow got Bruno Mars and all that. Good old Bruno Mars. You know? Maybe they also don't know how to spell Margaret. Now, we got, you're an ex-partner? What's your status? What's your status, sir? Oh, you guys can't see. Hold on here. Let me show you what we got going on so far. We got good old Johnny Newsom over here on the left. The sibling imprisoned, envied, cold. Then we got Margaret Newsom, the parent who died of natural causes, who is cautious about the victim and insensitive about the case. Then we have this individual here who, at this point in time, we do not have a name for them. But they are an ex-partner of good old Janie Newsom, who... Oh, I'm gonna have to roll this. I accidentally hit the wrong button. Hold on. It's only 21 pictures. I'm sure they'll pop up eventually. There we go. Janie Newsom, a middle-aged and unemployed individual with a ruined reputation who drowned in an unorganized crime scene out in the woods. We love a celebrity cameo, of course. Alright, well, we got the ex-partner. What else are you? What's your status? Where are you, sir? Left the country. How scandalous. Left the country, sir. That is suspicious. Now, what was their attitude towards our victim? Ex-partner. loved. Oh, you loved your ex-partner. Love a case that lets you travel, tax write-up and all that. They loved our victim. Now, the real question, what did you think about the case? Cold towards the case. Just like the brother. What is it? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh motherfucker, hold on. What is it about this case that you two know that I don't? I mean, it's a cold case to me too, but I suspect we have different reasons for that. A partner. What will we name you, good sir? You know, we'll call you Francis. The case is cold, not my attitude. Now that is right. Francis. Francis McNair, because I can't think of a singular name. Alright, Francis McNair. I'm curious to see who you are gonna be in this story of ours that we will unravel. But last but not least, we have suspect number 4. Who are you to our victim? Oh! The drama. They were the romantic partner of our victim. Oh no, a picture is painting itself and I'm mighty curious to find out. What else we're gonna find out about suspect number 4? Where are you, sir? Oh! Killed, the case related. Now, my, what a story this is turning out to be. Oh my, now I just have to find out more. What was your attitude towards our victim, suspect number 4? Indifference. Well, I can certainly make some logical leaps here to find out why that might be the case. My stars and garters, I'll be damned. What was your attitude towards the case then, sir? One and 2. Enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. Well. Well, we got Bobby Sinclair, the romantic partner of Janie, of Miss Janie McNair. We've got the ex-partner, Francis McNair, their mama, Margaret Newsom, and their brother, Johnny Newsom. Oh, I did the thing again. I need to switch these buttons before I keep doing this. I mean, just very quickly. You know what? Let me just throw this down here. There's no reason for that button to be still up there. Alright. We can close that out now. Only 2 living suspects. 2 dead, 1 in prison, and 1 out of the country. Well, 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 what are we gonna learn? About Janie Newsom's death. Cause of death, drowning. Signs of struggle. Crime scene unorganized out in the woods, which is to be expected. Who knows when they were found? With a case 50 years old. Don't you guys worry. Grandma BB is on the case. And my nephew is with me here to help me with anything I may need. First, we gotta find out what these individuals have. But I just realized that my mind slips me fairly often. I will have to leave you here for a moment in time to ponder what may have happened to Janie Newsom, because tomorrow is trash day, and it is increasingly late, and I do not want to walk out of my home at midnight to throw out my trash. So give me one quick momentito, and I will be right back. You know what? I'll even leave you guys on this screen. I won't even. I'm back. I am back. I tried thinking of the Hardy Boys, and your brain got to the Dudley Boys first, which is just a tad bit different than the Hardy Boys, admittedly. But I am back. Now I'm back. And I am unmuted. That is good to know, good to know. Oh, I need to turn that on because you guys might not be able to hear. Oh, you didn't hear your hello there. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I did not even realize your hello there didn't go off for chat. I heard it though. And sometimes that's more important. But because we are fair here at Grandma PB's Investigation Services.
Hello there.
I will redeem another hello there just for you, Booty. I'll also take the opportunity to take a nice, refreshing drink of water. You know what they say, a drunk a day keeps the doctor away. Am I right or am I right? All right, starting off. Hooray, Grandma PP is on the case. Don't you worry, honey. We'll get you, alright? I'm ready. So, our very first. Okay, so we are going to do a couple of things. Grandma PP needs a mint julep or a sweet tea. Okay, give me one of those Long Island iced teas. Or a nice pina colada. I'm gonna press this button and we're gonna pop this up. So we're gonna make a couple rolls here. This first roll is going to determine what kind of evidence is it. Again, there are three types of evidence. There are real evidence, which are things such as fingerprints. Anything CSI might have picked up back in the day, although we didn't call it CSI 50 years ago. Maybe we did. In my mind, 50 years ago was the 1950s, but it's apparently 1974 was 50 years ago, and that frankly hurts my feelings. So, our first thing is real evidence. Second is testimonial. That is when someone, you go up and you talk to the neighbors and you ask them what went down. And then documental evidence, well, that is, the local newspaper, any photos that might have been taken, anything along those cases, some CCTV footage, because that was probably around in the 70s. All right. 1, 2, real, 3, 4, testimonial, 5, 6, document. Let's see what we get. Ooh, documentary evidence. Now we're going to roll 2d6. 1 through 3, it's the top bit. 4 through 6, it's the bottom bit. Now, what are we going to get? 1 and 3, you say? A victim's note. And this is for Johnny Newsom. For anyone wondering. This was a victim's note. Got a lot of victims something. Just gotta find where the note is. Found it. Alright. We got our victim's note as our first piece of evidence. Hey, Kalino, how you doing? I hope you're doing well today. Now we got our next piece of evidence against Johnny Newsom. We're going to roll 3 evidence for each of our individuals. Oh, testimonial evidence. All right, some testimonial evidence. What do we got? 4-4. Roommate. A roommate had something to say about our individual. What is that? What is that called in particular? Roommate? Testimonial. Roommate is a human being. I have to do this myself. Oh boy. Give me one quick suckarundi to create this. Alright, let me just roll 1d21. Find out who this individual is. Roommate has 2 M's in it, huh? It's a room and then a mate. Therefore making the word roommate. Nope, it cannot be number 3. We already got a number 3. Unless, no, we can't do, unless. You know what? That will make things a little bit spicy. Sure, you will be our roommate, sir. You will never guess who this is. I cannot wait for you guys to see what I'm seeing at this very moment. Because it is, how the kids say nowadays, it is spicy. I have lost my Roll20. There it is. Don't you worry, I found it. Nothing can get past old Grandma PB. Wow, I step away to get water and we're getting spicy. We are getting mad spicy. You know what? I'll let the reveal be after we roll our third piece of evidence. Our third piece of evidence here on this day. Oh. If I do this, it becomes proportional again. Well, I'll be... let me roll. Our third piece of evidence is gonna be... real evidence, alright. Finally, some real evidence against Johnny Newsom, the brother of Janie Newsom. 2 and 3. Oh, our music ended. I will get that in a moment. Real evidence, we get 2 and 3. The DNA of the victim. Bum, bum, bum. Victim's DNA. Well, brother who envies his sister. Not only envies our sister, but it's cold about them. Johnny Newsom found with a victim's note. Testimonial from the roommates, otherwise known as Francis McNair, and also found with the victim's DNA. Well, Johnny Newsom. What else will we learn about you? What else you got to say for yourself? But first, let me make sure I turn on some ambiance. All right. Next, we got Miss... Oh, first of all, let me just make sure I connect our pieces of evidence. That's a little loud for me. I'm assuming it's gonna be a little loud for y'all. To make sure we understand the line of progression here. Alright. That's for Mr. Johnny Newsom. We got 3 more pieces of evidence to roll up for Mama Newsom. Mama Newsom, who was indifferent to her own child. Cautious even. Now, Miss Newsom, what kind of evidence do we have against you? Why are you a suspect? Testimonial. Who saw you, Miss Newsom, and where were you? Testimonial is that there is no alibi for you, Miss Newsom. Where were you? What were you doing at home alone? Well, what a likely story is all I have to say, Miss Newsom. A likely story indeed. So, stay. Okay. All right. What do we got next? What do we got next, Miss Newsom? What other piece of evidence is there against you? Real evidence, Mrs. Newsom. Things are not looking good for you. We got a 5 and a 4. Tire tracks, Miss Newsom. What were you driving off to on the night of your daughter's murder? Off in the woods, drowned. Struggling in the small creek. So I'm working tirelessly to make sure that these tokens look nice. Alright, and last but not least, Miss Newsom, what other evidence is there against you? A document, Miss Newsom. It seems we got a lot of evidence against you. Miss Ma'am, another victim's note. Well. A story is unfolding in front of both of us. Mrs. Newsom, with no alibi, with tire tracks found nearby, and the victim notes to boot. Mrs. Newsom, the parent of Janie Newsom, who died of natural causes, who's cautious towards Janie and insensitive towards the case. What else are we gonna learn about our suspects? Our next suspect, the ex-partner of Janie Newsom, who's left the country, loved Janie, but was cold towards this case. What is there to know, Francis McNair? What kind of evidence do we have against you? Real evidence, We found some fibers of yours on our victim, Miss Janie Newsom. Please let me resize this token. Thank you so very much, roll 20. Alright, we got some fibers. Now, what else do we got? What other kind of evidence do we have against you? Testimonial. An eyewitness, Mr. McNair. An eyewitness has placed you with our victim, Janie McNair, on the day of her death. What were you doing with Miss Janie Newsom? I don't know if I have an eyewitness image or if I'm gonna have to roll that myself. It is starting to look like I'm gonna have to roll that myself. Alright, everyone, roll another 1d21 to determine who this is. Number 16. Okay, alright. And you are our eyewitness. Someone saw you with Miss Janie before her death. What were you doing there, Mr. McNair? Now let's upload that photo. Sometimes I wish this were a little bit faster. I wish I could just drag and drop, but you know, we win some, we lose some. Got ourselves an eyewitness 50 years ago. What were you doing, Mr. McNair, being caught by our witness? And last but not least, oh, that's the wrong thing to roll. Hold on. We got some documental evidence. A receipt, placing you even closer to the location of death. Mr. McNair, things are not looking great for you, sir. Things are not looking good for you, our ex-partner of Miss Janie Lawson. Miss Janie Newsom. I keep saying Lawson because I am used to saying the name of this game. And just like that, we have suspect number 3. We have all the evidence found out of the box. Let's connect these on our corkboard so we know who these go from. Alright, and then last but not least, I support women's rights, but I also support women's wrongs. We've got our romantic partner, Bobby Sinclair. Well, Bobby Sinclair, why are you a suspect in this case? We got some documental evidence against you. The victim's diary. What is she writing about you, sir? What is in this diary that it was in so much so in your possession at the time of her passing? Alright, next we got some real evidence against you, Bobby Sinclair. What do you have? A pollen analysis. Well, Bobby Sinclair, what were you doing out in the woods that day? Why were you out? Why do you have this pollen on you? Mr. Bobby Sinclair, who's indifferent towards our victim. Meanwhile, Frances McNair, who's left the country and is her ex-partner, loved her still. Why, then, Mr. Sinclair, why are you still with Miss Janie Newsom? Let's find out. Last piece of evidence for the case is real evidence against Mr. Bobby Sinclair. We have a 1 and a 5. Photos of the victim, Bobby Sinclair. If you were so indifferent to Janie, why do you have so many photos of this victim? I would say that you have them out of love, but I think, Mr. Sinclair, both you and I know that that is not the case. Film was expensive back in the 70s. Actually, film's expensive now. I don't think it was that expensive back then. But everything cost more back in the day. I'm a boomer. Things were much harder back when I was growing up. With my $5,000 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-story house. White picket fence, large backyard in a nice suburban neighborhood close to the city. Things were hard back then. My daddy worked hard for that money to get me that new house. Gonna say nice and hydrated. We have our evidence board ready. We got it up, we got it ready. I'm just seeing if there's anything else in particular I need to have ready. I think not. Well. Now we gotta decide. What happens here? Why did you do the things you did? And for what reasons do you have? Maybe we start with the family. We have Johnny Newsom, sibling of Janie Newsom, who's currently in prison. Oh, old Johnny envied his sister. His sister, unemployed, terrible reputation. What happened, Miss Janie Newsom, to destroy your reputation long before you died? Unable to be employed. Middle-aged. Why, oh why are you ruined? Why would your mama be cautious? And why would your brother envy you? Yet have such a cold and insensitive view on your case. I have some theories, I have some thoughts, but first we gotta figure out whether or not Johnny did it. Well, Johnny, you were found with a victim's note. Her roommate, Frances McNair, saw you out with Janie on the day, and not only that, Johnny, you had your sister's DNA on you on the day you were picked up after being suspected for her death out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, drowned. Who drowned a woman out in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods behind the creek? What are you doing back there? Johnny Newsom, the younger brother of Janie Newsom, in prison. I am mad suspicious about this roommate. I think we should all be suspicious of this roommate. Frances McNair, I feel like there is a conflict of interest here. I don't know about you all, but I think there was a conflict of interest with one of our fellow suspects having seen another suspect on the day of her murder. Where would you have seen Johnny Newsom while you yourself were witnessed being with this eyewitness saw Mr. McNair out there with Janie Newsom. Meanwhile, Mr. McNair saw Johnny Newsom out there with Janie on that day. On that cold autumn day. What is this circle? This eyewitness did not see Johnny, but you definitely saw McNair. I don't think Mr. McNair saw Johnny Newsom and is trying to cover up his tracks. That is my assumption here. Now, the way that this works is we are going to roll a 2d6. We're going to roll a 2d6, and if you look right next to me, actually, right there, we have this first tracker with the little clock. That's our time tracker. The one past us, way that way, that is our investigation tracker. So, what happens here is I roll a 2d6, and if this 2d6 is more than our investigation tracker, the same or above, in this case it's a 7, it is rolled from 5 to 11, the investigation tracker. Don't ask me, that's just what the game says. And we start at 7, so right now I have to roll either a 7 or above. If I roll a 7 or above, that means I am correct, and I have found either a piece of missing evidence, connected 2 pieces of evidence, or discredited evidence. So in this case, I'm trying to discredit Frances McNair as an eyewitness, essentially. If I fail, if I roll below a 7, so 6 or below, that means that I'm wrong. my assumption that Francis McNair is trying to cover his tracks by blaming the brother, it's wrong. That, so in this case, I'm trying to say he's trying to cover his tracks and he was lying. In this case, it's the truth. He did see the brother there and he's being completely honest is what would happen here. Or I would say that somebody else also saw him, therefore making this testimonial correct. If I roll a 12 double sixes, that means I have a major breakthrough in the case. And I get to eliminate a piece of evidence against the same suspect, so against Johnny. If I roll a 2, however, snake eyes, then I have a setback. A new incriminating piece of evidence comes up against Johnny. And I have to roll on the evidence table. If I roll matches, so 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, etc., I get to use my special move, aka my grandbaby. He gets to get some evidence for us. That being said, let's see what happens. Sorry. Let me move it over here. I thought I just almost knocked down my glasses. So let's see. I need a 7 or above. Is Mr. McNair lying about seeing Johnny Newsom on the day that Janie died? An 8. That is above a 7. And that means, in fact, that Mr. McNair was lying to cover his own tracks and did not actually see Johnny Newsom show up at their apartment before he died. Well then, Mr. McNair, if you're lying about that, what else are you lying about? Did you even love Janie McNair? They say that murder is a crime of passion. But to kill someone out in the middle of the woods, drowning them, holding them down until they die, well, that is, I think, a little too much passion for any one individual, Mr. McNair. Therefore, I am going to believe, Mr. McNair, that after some further investigation, these fibers that were found on Janie's person were in fact yours. Fibers torn from a jacket of yours. Fibers that place you at the scene of the crime, Mr. McNair. Oh, the thing I also forgot to do. So when I get it correct, I get to move my investigation tracker up by 1. So we're going to move that up by 1 real quick. So now we are at an 8. Okay. We are at an 8. So now when I roll, I have to hit an 8 or above. Otherwise, I am incorrect. Also, let me just make sure I don't have to do anything with time. No, I only move time when I fail. So 8 or above is what I have to roll here to prove that these fibers were actually from Mr. McNair's jacket. Let's find out. 8 or above. Ooh, all right. So we move our investigation tracker down by 1, back to a 7, but our time goes up by 1. And I'll tell you what happens when we hit 5 on our time tracker. But that means that these fibers do not place you, Mr. McNair, in the scene of the crime. This jacket actually very common. After looking at it, I remember. I was young. I was in my 20s back 50 years ago. And I remember these jackets. These jackets were really big. That new and up-and-coming artist used to wear this, and everyone went crazy for it. Went out to the Macy's, and everyone had it. Especially up in the north where it actually gets cold. Therefore, Mr. McNair, these fibers, in fact, were not yours. That was false. Well, Mr. McNair. A liar, but maybe you weren't in the location. But speaking of not being in the location, Mrs. Newsom. Mama Margaret Newsom, Maggie Newsom. These tire tracks. What were they doing out in the woods, Miss Margaret Newsom? Were you out there? Is that why you left muddy tire tracks in and out of your driveway? I guess there's only one way to find out. I think, Miss Newsom, you drove out to those woods with Janie Newsom. You drove out there and you left her. You left her out there. Did you kill her? I don't know, but I think you're the reason she was out in those woods that night. I think that is what went down here. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that does seem mighty suspicious. All right, let's see. 2d6. These tire tracks. I fail. I needed to roll a 7 or above. I rolled a 5. Let us move our time tracker up by 1. And our investigation down by another. Now we gotta roll a 6 or above. Well, Miss Margaret Newsom. It turns out that it was deer season. It was prime smack dab in the middle of deer season. My grandson came in to check how the investigation was going, saw my board and asked me, as I was frantically looking through evidence, dates, times, seeing trying to figure out whose car these tire tracks were from, trying to compare tread sizes. My grandson came in and he told me, Grandma, did you know that in what time is it right now? It's hunting season right now. It's October. It's hunting season up there, Mama, Grandmama. Was Mrs. Newsom a hunter? And sure enough, I pull up a photo of the old Newsom home. And inside, well, I'll be damned, right up there on top of the mantle was a buck stuffed head up there. And then looking closer at some other family photos, you can see the whole family in those reflective vests and their camouflage, holding their rifles, which makes it mighty interesting that both Mama Newsom and Brother Newsom are being accused of this drowning death. Why not just shoot her if you really hated her that much? But you were out in the woods hunting. She wasn't out in the woods killing. Or was she? Both Brother Newsom and Mama Newsom, they both had a victim's note. This victim's note, we shooting folks, damn. Not only shooting folks' things, we are shooting their own flesh and blood. Oh, Janie Newsom. Middle-aged, unemployed, reputation absolutely ruined. Drowned out in the middle of the woods in a terribly unorganized sight. Probably from the signs of struggle. She did not go down without a fight. Good for you, Janie. But reputation ruined. And the brother who envied his sister, Johnny Newsom, imprisoned now cold towards the case, suspected of murder. And not only that, her mother, Margaret Newsom, dead of natural causes, cautious towards her own daughter, and insensitive towards the case. What does that mean exactly? Don't you worry, Grandma PB has this investigation. Gonna figure out this cold case. A retired investigator, or maybe just a fan of true crime. You'll never know. But don't you worry, Grandma PB will get this figured out. Get it right and let Janie Newsom rest. Hi, Sphinx, I hope you're doing well. Johnny and Margaret got a victim's note on the day before her murder. On this note, almost the same exact sentiment. A letter telling them both that times were hard and she wasn't wanted here anymore. And at her age, she could not afford that kind of reputation. So she was leaving. She was gonna leave. Pack up her things and go to another city, another town, somewhere where people weren't gonna judge her for the follies of her life. She lived a long life, made a lot of decisions. A lot of choices are compounded until the incidents happened, until she was found out. Why you no longer love her. So she was gonna leave, she was gone. She was gonna leave that week. And that's what that note was. Telling her they didn't have to worry about her no more. She was gone. If she was gone, why murder her? What did she do to make you want to kill her? Johnny Newsom may be envious. Envious that his sister could go off and start a new life while he was stuck here with the judgmental eyes of those around. Everyone had an opinion about what happened. And now, with Daddy gone and Mama alone, Johnny was the one who was going to have to step up. The younger brother, 18, freshly an adult, been working since he was 14. Now he had to step up. Haven't supported Janie since her reputation shattered. Couldn't get a job in the city anymore. Her ex-partner, Francis McNair, let her move in. Hey, Hawkeye! Welcome in, Raiders! Welcome in. We're in the middle of a diatribe trying to figure out why these victims' notes may or may not paint Johnny Newsom as the murderer, as a suspect. Right now, we have Grandma PB on the case. We have our poor victim, Janie Newsom, our middle-aged, unemployed Janie Newsom, who was drowned out in the woods with a crime scene so unorganized. And she struggled until her last breath. Her reputation ruined, leaving her mama, Margaret Newsom, suspect number 2, and her brother, Johnny Newsom, suspect number 1, as suspects for this case. Not only that, we got her ex-partner, Francis McNair, and her romantic partner, Bobby Sinclair. However, we find out that Francis McNair was Janie's roommate. Now, what is Janie doing living with her ex when she is in a relationship with Bobby Sinclair? And what is and how why would Johnny and Margaret Newsom kill Janie Newsom when she had just left them a note saying she couldn't stay in the city any longer, in this town? She had to leave to a place where people would no longer whisper behind their heads, giving the side eye, whispers all around talking about what Janie Newsom did. How Janie Newsom no longer could get a job anywhere in her town. Because small towns are small and everybody talks. And real or not, she's been, judge, jury, and executioner is your reputation in a small town. And that's why she was going to leave, and that was the note. She left both her mama and her brother. Though oddly enough, did not leave one for her ex-partner, her roommate, Mr. McNair, or her romantic partner, Bobby Sinclair, although Bobby Sinclair was indifferent. And that's where we are. Can't stop Grandma PB, exactly. If anyone can crack the case, it's Granny. How did Johnny die? Johnny is still alive. The only person who has died. This is a cold case. It is 50 years old. This is a 50-year-old case. And the only person who has died that we know of is Miss Margaret Newsom. Francis McNair has left the country since, in the last 50 years. And Bobby Sinclair is the one who, I forgot. Oh my God, I forgot that Bobby Sinclair was killed in a way related to the case. I completely forgot about that. Actually, curiouser and curiouser, Bobby Sinclair killed. Bobby Sinclair. We'll come back on this victim's note because I just remembered. Bobby Sinclair threw pollen analysis on his body. We found out that Bobby Sinclair was in the woods approximately at the same time Miss Janie was killed. Bobby Sinclair, the romantic partner of Janie Newsom, killed in the case relation, however indifferent towards Janie, but enthusiastic about the case. So enthusiastic, in fact, I think Johnny Newsom, imprisoned, envious of his sister, cold against the case. Cold against the case, but not impassionate. I think Johnny Newsom, pressure of the world on his shoulders. His daddy died recently, leaving him being the head of the household at 18 to take care of his mom, and now his sister was saying she was gone, she was leaving. Her reputation ruined, leaving her reputation behind to haunt little Johnny Newsom, newly an adult, ready to tackle the world, only to suddenly have all of this history thrust upon him. He finds out his sister is leaving, and then the next day finds out her sister is dead. His sister is dead, leaving him truly and really alone, having to deal with these feelings. Then he finds out more about this case. Finds out that Bobby Sinclair was found with Janie's diary. Not only that, Bobby Sinclair was found with a closet full of Janie's pictures. Someone who acted so indifferent against his sister. Never liked Bobby Sinclair, liked Francis McNair a lot more. He loved his sister. Bobby Sinclair was a city boy. Came in trying to run his daddy's lumber business. Always haughty-taughty, puffed out chest, thinking he was better than the small town folk. Just because his daddy owned the plant up the road? No. Johnny Newsom knew Bobby Sinclair killed his sister. He was obsessed with her, despite acting like he didn't care. And no one cared. No one cared. Paulin showed that he was there. People discounted the diary, but he knew Johnny Newsom had gotten in trouble more than once or twice for reading his sister's diary. He knew that she wouldn't, his sister Janie, who he envied so much, the older sister, perfect sister. He was the accident, not Janie. Janie is the baby they wanted. Johnny is the one that they got later. His mom and papa, they loved him. But they can never love Johnny the way they loved Janie their first. His mama and dad were old when he was growing up. Meanwhile, Janie no longer lived in that house. More of an aunt than a sister, but he envied her. Envied her, but loved her. And he knew Bobby Sinclair did it. It was Bobby Sinclair, the reason why he was the one now in charge of taking care of the house, the one in charge of trying to make sure to fix the family's reputation. And in a fit of rage, after finding out, seeing the shrine to his sister, he strangled Bobby Sinclair to death. Bare hands in his apartment, went up to him, they got in an argument, and he killed Bobby Sinclair. Because Johnny Newsom knew he did it. But did he do it? Was he the one that did this? Was Bobby Sinclair even, Einstein called these intuitive leaps, was he the one who actually killed his sister, Janie Newsom? Pollen analysis said that he did. And did it? Was this pollen analysis true? Did this pollen analysis actually leave Bobby Sinclair at the scene of the crime? Let's find out. I think it did, but did it really? We have to roll above a 6. I think. Hold on, let me check. Let me actually look at the tracker, see where we're at. So if that's 7, that's 6, that's 5. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We have to roll above a 6. Yes, we do. All right. Let's find out. I think he did. We have to roll a 6 or above to prove that he did. Excuse me. Oh my god, we rolled a 5. He did not. Oh my god. The pollen analysis was wrong. The pollen analysis was wrong. Bobby Sinclair was not at the scene of the crime on that day. Bobby Sinclair, at least according to this pollen analysis, was not actually at the scene in the woods. That pollen this pollen was actually from a bouquet of flowers. Looking at the evidence board, we saw in the shrine he had Janie Newsom. In the pictures, in the corner, you see a bouquet of flowers destroyed on the floor, stamped out, died, half dead, there in the corner. These photos, looking at these photos, Janie was found in October 16th. And these photos were taken October 18th. And Janie found the day she died. informed the parents on the next day. This pollen was from that bouquet of flowers. Looking at that pollen analysis, looking at those flowers, Bobby Sinclair had bought her a bouquet of flowers. And in a fit of rage, he never delivered them to her. She never even got to see. Now, why would Bobby Sinclair stamp out this bouquet of flowers? Well, I think because he knew where Janie's heart actually was. Janie, having moved in with her ex, Francis McNair, she moved in with Francis McNair. Before she left, she was leaving her town, small town, to go for the big city, start anew out there. She told Bobby Sinclair, left a note for her mama and daddy, but she told Bobby in person, told him that she was leaving. And she knew he did not care. She wasn't gonna care, so she didn't even ask him, didn't even consult him, just told him, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. Bobby Sinclair, who was here because he was helping run his daddy's plant, but stayed here for his daddy's plant. However, this indifferent act he put up stayed up and kicked her out, threw her out. And where does she go? She goes to the one person in the city that still loved her, and that is Francis McNair. Francis McNair went and of course Francis McNair let her in. Why would he not? Francis McNair loved Janie. And Janie stayed there and cried on his shoulder all that night. Bobby Sinclair. Bobby Sinclair. Was it love or was it obsession, Bobby Sinclair? You had this basically shrine to Janie, and yet you acted so indifferent towards her, but so obsessed. Photos all over of Janie. Her diary that you held on to. Why is that, Bobby Sinclair? Was this love or was this obsession? I'm starting to think this was obsession, Mr. Sinclair. Photos of the victim? 4 or 5 or above. And this was obsession. Otherwise, we have to figure out a new reason. Let's see. 8. Oh, and we rolled 4s. That's my special move. If I roll doubles, that means I get my special move. And my special move is my sidekick. My grandbaby. My grandbaby. Maxwell. My grandbaby Maxwell. My sidekick helping me with trying to figure out this investigation. I sent him out to do to go on his Googles and find any extra information he may know about Bobby Sinclair. And I don't know how Maxwell did, but he got into contact with all kinds of people from that city. All kinds of people who knew Bobby Sinclair. And you know what they say about small cities? They always talk and they never forget. So when he started asking about Bobby Sinclair, he started getting all kinds of facts and details, all kinds of information about Janie also. how Bobby Sinclair never let her out of her sight. Although he acted like a mighty fool with her. Always pulling and tugging her, always holding on to her. Never letting her do anything. But never showing an ounce of love towards her either. They never saw what Janie saw in Bobby Sinclair. But, you know, that was none of their business. Maxwell running into the silver. And through his means, we find out that Bobby Sinclair was in fact obsessed with Miss Janie. That's not how you act with someone you love. The way you act like you love someone is with Mr. McNair. It's a small town surrounded by woods. But like I said, I need to actually hold on. Before I give you guys my next theory, I need to see what happens when I get matches. Matches, but it was also a success. So I moved my investigation tracker up by 1. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, so next time we have to roll a 6 or above. My grandbaby, I gave him a lesson before he went out. He left again. I think that this eyewitness did see Mr. McNair out in the woods that day. But like I said before, it was hunting season. And everyone had just gotten their permits. That's why Mrs. Margaret Newsom was out hunting. And I think Mr. McNair was also out hunting. He had Janie in his house, but Janie said she was leaving. Janie said she was gone, and McNair loved her. And when you love someone, you have to know when to let them go. And Mr. McNair, Francis McNair, knew that there was nothing Janie could do anymore in this town. Her reputation was wrecked. And Janie was not getting any younger. If this was her opportunity to get away from Bobby Sinclair, then by golly, let it be. So Mr. McNair, I think this eyewitness did place him in the woods, but I think he was hunting. And let's find out if the dice believe the same thing. We have to roll a 6 or above. And we rolled a 7. This eyewitness did see what she thought she saw. But all that did was place Mr. McNair out in the woods. And it was haunted season. There were a lot of people out there. It's why people were able to find Janie so fast. Otherwise, Janie might have stayed out there in the woods for a lot longer. But beginning of the season, deer plentiful. Shots heard all around. And yet, Janie wasn't killed by a shot. Janie was drowned. And that's what makes this such an unusual case and also a cold one. So many people around. But yet no one saw what happened. I think this victim note is real. I think this victim's note is real. I think that, Janie did tell them. And Janie told them she was leaving through a note. Yeah, family that hunts together stays together. And Bobby does seem like an asshole. Because I think he is an asshole, TBH. That means I need to roll a 7 or above to prove that Johnny Newsom's note is real. Again, there's 2 notes on the field. One of them could be fake or they both could be fake. I don't know. Maybe a family that hunts together really does stay together. Did Johnny Newsom, is this actually a letter from Janie telling him that she was leaving? It's not. This letter, in further investigation, looking at Janie's diary, comparing the A's, comparing the E's. You know, this was back in the day when we still learned how to write in cursive. And looking at those loop-de-loops, they did not loop-de-loop the same. Therefore, this note was not written by Miss Janie Newsom, but was a forgery made by Johnny Newsom. They told us we'd think cursive all the time. It was lies. I tell you, lies. It's true. I still have the bump. I still have the bump from 4th grade where we had to write in cursive all the time. And our teacher just had us writing all the time. That callus, he's still there. That's a forever callus. I was in 4th grade many years ago. And yet here we are. Johnny Newsom. Oh, actually, that's not. How do I... Can I select this? Can I... No. Can I... Oh. How do I delete this? You know what? We're just gonna freehand it. Actually, it's a circle. It's just a really bad circle is what this is. That's real. That's a real one. That's how we save it. You'll need it all the time in high school. Please don't. Please God, please do not write in cursive. I'm literally begging you on my hands and knees. Do not do that to me. Our teachers used to say, write it in print, and if you can't write it in print, just type it out for us. Just type it out. Just print it out. Print out your paper. Type it up. Print it out. I'm not going to read your cursive. I'm immediately just not going to grade it if you give it to me in cursive. The eyewitness was real, but I crossed it off because the eyewitness was for seeing McNair in the woods, therefore placing him in the scene of the crime. But just because McNair was in the woods does not mean he was in the scene of the crime. That's why we crossed off the witness. I get to choose in the game. What happens is you proclaim something, and then the roll weighs whether or not it's real. So I said the eyewitness saw him. I said that the witness saw him in the woods, and that is true. She really did witness that, but she did not see him in the woods, and therefore her testimonial is no longer valid as evidence for this. Because we found evidence that did place McNair there, however, not there for the reasons that eyewitness believed. In the same way that roommate is crossed off because the roommate did see him, or lied about seeing him. So both of those testimonials are moot now in this investigation. For two different reasons. The roommate, aka McNair, was lying, and the eyewitness did place him there, but it no longer is evidence that can count against McNair, if that makes sense. That cursive thing lasted for a year before they just dropped it entirely for us. We had 1 year. We had 4th grade where they taught it to us, and then they I did not care one way or another. But because we had spent a literal entire year writing in cursive, most of us kept writing in cursive until we were expressly told to stop in middle school. At that point, it was a point of contention. All right, so that victim's note was a lie. Was not true. We failed that roll. Oh, we failed that roll. Okay. So that means we reach 5 time. Sorry. It's crushed ice in that. And it's been sitting here for a while. I didn't think it had any ice left. It did. And that little bit of ice just, I almost swallowed it. But when in this game, when the time tracker reaches 5, there's a plot twist. And then I get to set the timer back to, I get to set the timer back to 0 after our plot twist. So what is our plot twist, you may ask? Well, it means I get to roll a 1d6. And depending on what this 1d6 is, I'm going to roll 2d6 actually looking at this. I don't know why I wrote it this way. Different than every other table I have. So first die is going to tell us 1 through 3. It's either going to be this table right here, or it's going to be the second table over there. That is what our first die is going to tell us. Our second die is going to read down the line. Again, our left side 1 through 3, 4 through 6 on the other side on the first die. Let's see what happens. A 5 and a 1. So on the second table, but the first, silenced. Who was silenced? Was I silenced? Who was silenced? Someone was silenced? Who was silenced? Who was silenced? Someone was silenced. Let me change the timer before I forget. Oh, absolutely, Bude. Please make a suggestion. Well, I reset all these tokens. Did I reset my 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6? We were up to 7, right? I failed with a 6. So now I'm down to 6. So I did change my investigation token. We will pretend that I did. If you have a suggestion for silence, feel free to tell me. We silencing folks? Oh, we silencing folks. People were silenced. Plot twist. Someone was silenced in this story. But who was it? Who was silenced? Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and mark that connected to Newsom, so we know that he killed Bobby Sinclair. The sibling may have had an unfortunate accident in prison. Could it have been Bobby or the mother that killed Johnny, you think? Word got around, I guess. Natural causes my ass. Well, the mom's dead. Wow. It's going to be hard to blame anybody for this one. Damn. Okay. Damn. All right. Okay. So Johnny Newsom. I think word got around The prior deaths being exposed as folks being silent. Oh, I see. You're saying that like killing Sinclair was silencing somebody, or Margaret Newsom dying of natural causes was her being, silenced here. Okay, I like that. I vibe that. Okay. Okay, I know where we're gonna go here. I was over here ready to bump off a third suspect, right? Well, I mean, there's still time. There's still time. Don't you worry, Bude. People can still die in this story. Okay. Bobby Sinclair. In further research, so there was a little something or other in the information that my grandson collected. Maxwell, good boy. He's a good boy. Maxwell, when he was looking into what was happening in the case of Janie Newsom and Bobby Sinclair, someone brought up, it's just an offhand comment, talking about how Johnny Newsom, what a shame that Johnny Newsom let his head get the better of him and kill Bobby Sinclair, although he was not going to be missed by the people. He was still the person in charge of the timber company up the road, and Janie had gotten him a job there when she started dating Sinclair, which is really good because Johnny was never a smart boy, but he was a hard-working boy, so he got a job there, and it paid well. It did well for them, especially after their daddy died. Between him and Janie, they were really able to keep their home afloat and take care of the mama. And it's a shame because now Margaret was without daughter or son or husband. Died of a broken heart, that's what they said she did. Died of a broken heart a little while. Same year that within the year after Janie died, and Johnny was convicted of murder. The murder of Bobby Sinclair. But there might be more to this story than a simple crime of passion. Bobby Sinclair was not a liked man in the town. He was arrogant, a little off, and made it no secret that he did not like being around all the small town folk. But without much choice, he stuck around. And he started dating Janie McClare. And somehow he only got worse after that. But good old Bobby Sinclair got her brother a job, and after working really hard, he was able to move up and work inside, no longer outside with the wood and stuff. And for a while, it seemed that Johnny and Bobby might be getting along. You know, maybe Bobby wasn't so bad if little Johnny Newsom could I could become friends with a city boy. Which is why it was so weird when Johnny was the one who went after that's why it was so weird when Johnny went after. Have a good night, Bude. Sleep well. Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, I have to do. I have to just have that there for a second. Hold on. Hold on. Do some logistical bullshit. Let me just do that real quick. It's supposed to be set that only accounts with an account older than a couple of weeks can follow. And all of these accounts that I followed today, all these bots, do not have accounts older than a week. And I'm mad about it, Twitch. All right. There we have done a thing to try and make that a little bit better for us. All right. Now that I've done that, let's get back to figuring out a murder here. And the people of the city, or the town, I think it's such a shame that Johnny was sent off to prison so fast. And that Margaret died so soon afterwards. Some would say it was a suspicious affair, especially after Janie's reputation was destroyed. Some might say they were silenced. And if anyone's not a bot, which I doubt, you could always appeal. You could always appeal if you were banned. After following, you could always appeal. Apologies. The bots are the murderer. Dun dun dun. So there's a conspiracy that these people were silenced. One sent to prison. The other one died of a broken heart. And Francis McNair, well, he left the country soon not afterwards. What was happening between Janie and those around her? That's the real question. Who is the suspect in this case? Johnny Newsom, found with the victim's DNA. But did Johnny Newsom actually murder his sister? Was the DNA found on his person because he murdered her? Or because of some other scuffle they may have had prior to her passing? We've already proved that the note was fake. Why would you fake a note, Johnny Newsome? If you actually fake that note. But I don't think that victim's DNA was from the murder. I don't think Johnny Newsome did it. Did you do it, Johnny Newsome? Is that the victim's DNA? We have to roll a 6 or higher. That blood was fresh. There was no sign of a struggle. None of his neighbors heard a damn thing. None of the neighbors heard a damn thing from Johnny Newsome's house. And Johnny Newsome, like the rest of them, taking advantage of hunting season, he went out. And he went and he, gun and all, camo, ready to go hunting. Go pick himself up a nice deer, nice buck. Although he didn't come back with anything, but his clothes still have blood on them. Curious and curiouser, is it not? Johnny Newsome, why did you have your sister's blood on you and the victim's note? Things aren't looking good for you, Johnny Newsome. Is that why you killed Bobby Sinclair? Did you plant that diary on Bobby Sinclair to blame him on this death? Hold on, I need to move some stuff around. Did you kill him so no one would find out, Johnny? So no one would know that you killed your sister? Is this victim's diary 5 or above? Did Bobby Sinclair actually have this victim's diary on his person? We rolled snake eyes. He did not plant this. He did not plant this piece of evidence. He didn't do it. Johnny might have just had enough of Bobby shit. Who done it? That's what we're trying to figure out, Crit Witch. But don't you worry, Grandma BB, investigator galore, fan of true crime podcasts, and her grandbaby Maxwell will get this case figured out. Don't you worry, Crit Witch. We just rolled snake eyes, and when you roll snake eyes, the assumption is incorrect and a setback occurs in the investigation. The setback is a new form of incriminating evidence against the same suspect. Well, Bobby Sinclair. My assumption was wrong. I thought Johnny planted this on you. I thought Johnny was setting you up, that he was the one, the mastermind between the silencing, that he knew something, that Janie knew something, and together they were silencing people. But now, Bobby Sinclair, Bobby Sinclair, there's a new piece of evidence against you. You may be dead, Sinclair, but that doesn't mean you get to get away with it if you did it. What did you do? Rolling 1 through 6, 1 and 2 is real evidence, 3, 4 testimonial, 5, 6 is document. What did we get? Oh, real evidence against Bobby Sinclair. It is the first table, 4th. Oh my god, I thought it was murder weapon. More of the victim's belongings. Stop being creepy, Bobby. God damn it. You're so creepy. Why do you got her stuff, Bobby Sinclair? First, you have photos of the victim. And then you have the diary of the victim. Like, you've got a shrine to her. Hey, but you're so indifferent. What is your deal, Bobby? What the fuck is your problem, Bobby Sinclair? Who done it here? Hello, hello? Granny PB, I'll arrest a corpse, you best believe. Look, I'm sure Bobby borrowed. Oh, never mind. New incriminating evidence. So not only did you have the victim's diary, honestly, you know what? Maybe Johnny Newsom was onto something. You had the victim's diary. You had a pollen analysis. That pollen was not from the woods, but was from a bouquet that you bought Janie, that you crushed up in front of and left to rot at the shrine you had of her in your closet. And now you have victim's belongings? Brother, Bobby's a lifetime movie antagonist. Fucking yeah. Damn, Bobby, I don't know what to do. Margaret, what do we do here? Margaret, what was your family into? You've got no alibi, Miss Margaret. Miss Margaret, you've got no alibi. You went off hunting on your own. You don't have a husband no more. R.I.P. never forget. Your daughter, your one and only daughter, your oldest, middle-aged, moving out, terrible reputation. You were cautious of her. Why? Why were you so cautious of your own daughter, Margaret? And when it came to the case, you were so insensitive about it. Meanwhile, died of natural causes, broken heart, they say, after your poor baby who spent his entire life thinking that you didn't love him as much as you did Janie. That you and Papa Newsom did not love him as much because he was an accident. And yet you die a broken heart because Johnny went to prison? She was leaving. And you have no alibi for the day she left except that you were hunting. Now, normally that's a pretty good alibi, Mrs. Newsom. However, the reason no one knew you were out hunting that day is because you didn't have a permit. Now, did you, Miss Newsom? No, you never really had a reason to have a permit, did you? And now, any game warden worth his weight wouldn't let anybody go out of those woods with a buck in their truck. Miss Newsom, were you actually hunting that day? Were you out there hunting? Or were you up to some other stuff? She thought you could escape with that old I'm dead excuse. That's what I'm saying. No one is exempt from this investigation. I will bring out that Ouija board in a heartbeat. Now. No alibi. We need a roll. Oh, I'm sorry. We still have this up. We need to arrive a 5 or above for this no alibi. Miss Newsom, I think you did not. You were out there hunting. But because you had no permit, no one was gonna say a thing. It's a small town. But everybody knows you gotta eat. And everybody knows Mr. Newsom died this year. You had a lot on your table, Mrs. Newsom. So I don't think Mrs. Newsom had a hunting permit for this year, and that's why she had no alibi. No, no one's a snitch. It's a small town. People talk, but they don't mess around when it comes to people eating. And I think that's why you have no alibi. Is that why you have no alibi, Mrs. Newsom? Let's find out. 5 or above. My grandbaby Maxwell. My grandbaby Maxwell. Double sixes. My grandbaby Maxwell. He's a good boy. He's a real good boy. It's no alibi documentary? Is that a documentary piece of evidence? An alibi is testimony. I know how we're gonna spin this. That's just... We're gonna do a receipt. We're gonna add a receipt in here. And this receipt's gonna be our proof. So not only am I right, no alibi has no cause to stay here for us. Because Margaret Newsom, we found some receipts. My grandbaby went out there and went on those Googles, and he was talking to some people, and he was able to get a little bit more information from the sheriff's office. And Mrs. Newsom has been dead a long time, and he saw that my boy's a good boy. Maxwell, he's a good boy. Mrs. Newsom got that license because she don't get ready, she stay ready. And look, Mrs. Newsom, she stays strapped all times. You are not gonna catch her lacking. Mrs. Newsom, my boy Maxwell, he's a good boy, and what he found was that Mrs. Margaret Newsom did go out. She went out to down to Barnaby's. Barnaby's it's the hunting store. It's the hunting supply store down in the city, and Mrs. Newsom stopped by and she picked up all the things you would need for a hunting trip. And as we all know, Janie did not die of a shot. She died to drowning. Now, why would Mrs. Margaret Newsom, if she truly wanted her ilk dead, why would she just not shoot her dead? It's so easy to pretend that it was an accident. People die all day. I mean, another 2 people died in that forest that same year. Both shot because they were not wearing the reflective vests. And people thought they were deer near the end of the season. It was crowded and they died. And therefore, with that receipt, we prove that Mrs. Newsom was out there hunting. Just like my grandbaby thought with those tire tracks, just like we saw with the receipt, just like we saw with the alibi. The only thing left, Mrs. Newsom, is that a real victim's note? Did Janie really leave you a note, Mrs. Newsom, or was that a suspicious act? Is this a section? They didn't say Reddit, that's what I'm saying. We gotta roll a 6 or above on this one, I believe. 6 or above. That this victim's note is real. This note is real. Miss Janie, left this note to her mama. Didn't want to break her heart telling her in person, oh, he caused so much problem for the family. Couldn't stand to face her mama again. See the disappointment in those eyes. Because Janie was the favorite in the family. She was her baby girl. Doesn't matter that she was in her 40s. She was her baby girl and always would be her baby girl, even though she did something so atrocious that she was run out of the city, or was about to be. And Mr. Francis McNair, you loved Janie. You loved our Janie. You loved her so much. So why would you kill her? Why would you kill Janie? Our middle-aged, unemployed, reputation ruined, crime of passion drowning. Why would you kill Janie? Now, she wasn't a good girl, but there wasn't nothing to murder about. And this receipt places you. Now, we know that Mrs. Janie came over to stay with you, McNair. It's why you were able to place Johnny Newsom, or were trying to say that Johnny visited, angry at your sister, yelling. The day that she died, that they left together, that's what you were saying. But that wasn't true, McNair. Why would you lie? Why would you lie? We know that's not true because at the time you said that happened, you had this receipt down in town. Why would you lie for Miss Newsom? Why would you lie for someone, anyone? Why were you trying to plan this on Johnny? Is it just because you didn't like Johnny? Is Johnny the reason you were no longer with Janie? And she went to go be with that dick Bobby Sinclair? We know it wasn't Mama Newsom. We know she was out hunting all day. But she seemed suspicious because ain't no one wanted to rat on her. A murder case is a big deal. And while hunting without a permit isn't a big deal, it would have meant she wouldn't be able to hunt anymore, and no one wanted that from Mrs. Newsom. Everyone knew that with Johnny having killed Bobby, Janie dead, husband also passed away recently. Now Miss Margaret had to eat. And no one was going to do that to Miss Newsom. Everyone knew she didn't do it, but no one could say why. Bobby's game is strong, I guess, right? Why did you not like Johnny, Francis? We know you went hunting. We know Johnny was found with his sister's blood on him. Was your DNA, Johnny? Was that DNA? Did you go out hunting with your sister one last time? I know you envied her. But just because you envy someone doesn't mean you don't love them. Bobby, don't hate the player, hate the game, goddamn. I mean, she was still your sister. Older, but she's still your sister. We know that that blood was Janie's and was on you. We know that victim's note was made up. But did you go hunting with Janie? Did you go out hunting with Janie and that's why the blood's on you? Something happened? And that blood got on you? I'm not saying you murdered her, Johnny. I'm just saying that the blood got on you. A lot of things happen when you're out hunting. The wilderness is sharp out there. Especially as fall's coming. A lot of leaves on the ground, a lot of branches suddenly protruding. Hunting knives taken out, cutting down branches so you can get a good position for these a good hunting blind. Seven. We need to hit a 7 or above. Need to roll a 6 or above to prove that this receipt actually was real and not suspicious. 6 or above. It was real. It's hunting season after all. Look, it's real hard to decide what's hunting season material and what's not. While my grandbaby Maxwell was calling Barnaby, he asked about what kind of items you have when you're hunting. when you're hunting deer, what did y'all use in the 70s? And well, as you know, Barnaby kind of rattled on a little bit, but he talked about, oh, well, you would need some gloves. It was mighty cold in those times, and wearing some nice latex gloves would allow you to work with gutting the deer a little bit faster. And then the rope, well, I mean, deer, they be slipping and sliding back there. And they will do a number on your truck bed if you do not make sure to hold them down in place. The disinfectant, well, you know, not everybody has a nice place to clean up, to butcher their animals. Now down here, everyone does it by hand. You don't go to the butcher. You go out back, you get yourself your fold-out table, and you start hacking away. But that's that same table you play bingo on. That's the same table you serve the Thanksgiving turkey on. That's the same table you do all these things with. And it stays outside, and it gets a little bit grungy. And having tarps is good, but you want that for the innards. Where you place the deer itself, you want that, you know, you disinfect that. That's how they do it back then. So, and on Barnaby went, and as Maxwell went down the receipt, just checking off each one, and sure enough, all things that were typically bought look suspicious to an outsider's eye, but when you're actually looking at it in the context of it's hunting season, well, suddenly a lot of things start making a lot of sense. And it makes sense because after Bobby died, a bunch of city slickers came in and took over the case. It wasn't the local sheriff's job anymore. It became a state issue. And especially with Bobby's daddy being a bigwig. Well, there was a lot of evidence taken that doesn't add up, such as Mrs. Newsom being out hunting. Although the victim's note is real in this case, right? I rolled that it's real. This is real, and this is fake. Yeah, because I said that she couldn't take her mama looking at her. So that crosses off Miss Margaret Newsom and Francis McNair, absolving them from being our murderers. Ex-lover, mama, neither of them killed nobody. That leaves us with our already known murderer, Johnny Newsom. Placing him with Janie sometime that day with blood on his person. Fresh blood on his person. With a forged note. Like his mama could have, he knew his mama had got a note. He must have whipped one up real quick. Mighty suspicious. Suspicious even more is Bobby Sinclair out here with the diary, the photo of the victims, and the victims' belongings. Were these the victim's belongings on the day she died? Is this what she had? I need to roll a 6 or above to prove that these were her items the day of her death. Why do you have to be so creepy, Bobby? These are not her items from the day of. Looking at the contents inside once more. There was a bill in there for a couple of days before. One that she paid off, and then another one And then in her home, in Janie's home, that was all packed up except for some mail there. You saw another envelope from before. Now, while these are the victim's belongings, these are not the victim's belongings on the day she died. These are the victim's belongings from a different day. So not on the day of her murder. But definitely still creepy because you have her items, her bag, from a different day. The bag that he had a bunch of old statements in it. The bag that she had, she wouldn't have had a bag then. She didn't have her belongings. Oh, who did it? Was it Bobby Sinclair or was it Johnny Newsome? Oh, I thought if I got in that role, we would have had a really nice ending here. Photos of the victim's diary, all things you had on you. Romantic partner, but she was leaving you without even asking you. You came here and you said to her, you were indifferent to her, and yet you stalked her. The kind of person who would steal somebody's private belongings and sniff them. And yet you acted so indifferent, so callous, so violently towards Janie. And then Johnny Newsome found her blood on him the day, killed Bobby in a fit of rage after finding out he had her sister's diary. Forged a note. A note similar to that of the one that her mama got. She went to go stay with McNair. See, Bobby is lifetime antagonist coded. You killed your own kills around here. What is the catalyst here? We know it wasn't Margaret. We know it wasn't Francis. Francis leaving the country. Mrs. Margaret Newsome died soon after her baby boy was imprisoned for killing Bobby Sinclair. Janie's reputation. Do you think Johnny killed Bobby in revenge? That's the narrative that I was spinning up before, my thought of it originally, as to why Johnny killed Bobby. But Janie did something. Janie did something because Janie's reputation was ruined. Janie was leaving town, middle-aged woman leaving town, unemployed, could no longer get employed after what she did. Something that led to her death, to her drowning, struggling. The crime scene, it was unorganized. It wasn't planned. It was hunting season. They had only a small amount of time to get in and out. The location were the Hunting Woods. It's a logging town. Woods are all over the place. That's not unique. If someone's gonna die, it's gonna be in the woods. But Janie did something. The catalyst of everything. Her daddy died this year, leaving her mom a widow. Making Johnny be in charge of everything, causing him to break to kill Bobby Sinclair from the pressure of it all. Johnny didn't like Francis. There's a decent age gap. His sister died when he was 18. A decent size 15, 16, 17-year-old gap between the two. Johnny envied Janie for being the golden child. Meanwhile, he was just the accident. I could have been. I'm forming a thought in my head. I think I have it. I think we got it. I think we got it. I think we have it. I think I have it. What Janie did to ruin her... I know what it is. Janie Newsom, a hardworking woman, had down at the logging company. Again, it was the 70s. Everyone making sure that she was so sweet little Janie Newsom. Everyone knew her, grew up around her. She was a young little lass, daughter of Margaret and Nelson Newsom. Always going around doing the chores, doing the errands for her parents, who were working hard to make sure that her and Johnny could continue afford going to school. Get the nice things. She was the golden child. Then obviously they had Johnny as a little bit of an oopsie doodle. Once Janie left off for community college. However, her father, Nelson Newsom, he was sick. And times were hard on Miss Margaret. Margaret worked, but she didn't get a lot. She was a secretary. And secretaries, they didn't get that much money, not enough to raise a young boy and afford all the medicines and the doctor's visits that Nelson needed. So after a semester in college, Janie came back home and started working at the local logging company, somewhere that Margaret also worked. She got her a job in there, and that's when Simon Sinclair was working there. Simon Sinclair, Bobby Sinclair's daddy. Soon enough, Janie stayed there 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, working in this logging company. She became a bit of a staple at the company. Meanwhile, Margaret just got older and older and went from... And Nelson never got better. Started off with a little bit of a cough, and then after 10, 15 years with that cough, well, old Nelson contracted the cancer and didn't last much longer than that. Margaret at Janie's and Johnny's pest. Johnny started working younger, 14 again. Got a job at the grocery store, stocking shelves, filling bags. Good boy. Started at 14 to help his mama, daddy, and his sister out at home. Though he worked part-time, Janie would not let him get out of school. Though her parents didn't care, Nelson and Margaret, a little too worried about themselves than to worry about their son. So, Janie made sure Johnny stayed in school. And she kept picking up extra shifts, but even then it was starting to get a little hard. And that's when Bobby Sinclair came into town. Bobby Sinclair came up, and Simon Sinclair, Daddy Sinclair, he went off to a different company, made sure to go start a new logging company in the city over, and left Bobby here to take care of the company. And he was taking care of the company well. And there was one person you wanted to make sure could help you run the business. That was going to be Janie Newsom. Janie Newsom ended up being it was all back then. It was all called being a secretary, but she did a lot of things more than being a secretary. She took care of incoming calls, outgoing calls, invoices. She knew everyone at the suppliers and knew the drivers coming in and out. She knew a little bit of everybody. And when Bobby Sinclair came in, big wig from the big city. Simon was a good man. Bobby not so much. Bobby was an odd man. Not a guy who knew business. He clearly didn't want to be there, and all he cared about really was money. But he took a special shine to Janie. A lot of people thought it was just because Janie was very good at her job. Meanwhile, Bobby was not. However, all this working, Janie still couldn't afford to take care of the medical bills. But without a formal education, not much of a choice she had in the matter. At the time, she was dating Francis McNair. They had been together a few years, and he adored her, and she loved him. But Francis McNair, he had a lot of passions, but not a lot of money. He could afford to keep the house, his pappy's house, pay the taxes on it, but pay for the groceries. But he couldn't afford to help much with Janie's situation. So even if Janie were to get married to her love, it would not help her parents out, and Janie loved her parents. So when Bobby started making advances towards Janie didn't say no. When Bobby started being a little bit more unsavory, Janie didn't say no. If it meant that she could get a little bit more money for her, she can leverage this a little bit more to get some money to help out her daddy, her mama, then he would. So, indifferent as Bobby was, Janie was going to do what Janie had to do. And so, as she got with Bobby got Johnny a job at the company, and fast-tracked him, as recompense up the chain of command, in order for Johnny to get a little bit more money. Meanwhile, Janie kept doing what she had to do. Her daddy kept getting sick. Her mom withering away along with her daddy from heartbreak. Soon it came out that Janie Newsom, who was still with Francis McNair, fiancés with Francis McNair, came out that she was sleeping with Bobby Sinclair. And well, they caught them in the supply closet. And well, word gets around quick in small towns. It got around, oh, you hear? Janie Newsom. They found her in the closet with Bobby Sinclair. I guess that's how we know that, how Johnny got his job so quickly. And how, they're able to afford those expensive doctor's visits. I heard that. I heard this. I heard that. Until Francis found out. Heartbroken. But he understood. He knew. Janie had been different. Distant. Not cold, but sad. He had hoped it was just because of what was happening with her daddy, but deep down, I think he knew. Francis loved Janie, and he wasn't going to be able to do what Bobby could do for her family. And with a broken heart, he accepted that he was no longer going to be a part of Janie's life like that. However, the city did not take it as kindly as Mr. McNair did. Everyone talking behind Janie's back, talking about how McNair, how all she cared about was the money, a gold digger. Bobby Sinclair's a staying on this small town, doesn't even want to be here. And now we know why he stuck around, because of Miss Janie Newsom. And Janie was gonna do what she had to do to make sure her daddy stayed alive. So, head held high, she continued working at that plant. And Bobby Sinclair kept clawing away at her. That is until Nelson Newsom died. Cancer got him, bless his heart. A relief to Janie, but also a heartbreak. Johnny was 18 now. He could work. He had a nice job at that logging company. And, now it was time for her to go live her own life. She had spent her entire life. Daddy got sick when she went to college. She was never able to go to college because of that. And she had stuck around in the small town that she hadn't really wanted to stick around in. She wanted to go be her own person, but she loved her family more than anything, and she would do anything for them, and she had done her part. Janie had done her part, reputation ruin for doing her part. The city that she had spent so much time and dedicated her life in had all but thrown her aside. All for doing what she had to do, so her mama could never look her in the eyes. After the news got out about her and Bobby. I mean, what parent want to see their golden child have to do things like that in order to support them? Margaret wasn't in a position, ashamed. There was nothing she can do, and she did all she could to make sure Nelson didn't know about it. Saying that, oh no, they're just jealous. That Bobby has money and she's with Bobby. She broke up with McNair ages ago. But she was ashamed. And because she was ashamed, well, Janie thought that she was ashamed of her. And Johnny didn't know. Johnny had heard a thing or two, but no. He didn't believe it. His sister would never. She's the golden child. She's everything he ever wanted. Everything he ever wanted to be. He envied his big sister. One of the most powerful women in the company. Everyone knew her, everyone loved her, everyone always said things, except recently. But no, he didn't believe that. And it was easy to ignore the noise when all he did was go to school, work, go to bed, rinse and repeat. It was nice at times because his parents really didn't pay much attention to him. They never really had. But even more so after Daddy got diagnosed with cancer. And so he tried harder. He would have dropped out if it weren't for Janie. He was ready to go work full-time at that plant, at that logging company. Do what he had to for his family, just like Janie had. But Janie didn't let him. Janie said, no, you stay in school. Stay in school, and when you get out of school, then we can talk. Johnny was mad at that. How dare she? This was his opportunity to show his parents that he could be just as good as Janie, and Janie was not letting him, leading him to have a lot of envy in his heart, jealousy. He was a teen. A teen in a family where she was the golden child and he was the forgotten child. Meanwhile, Bobby Sinclair came into the situation, the small little town, middle of fucking nowhere. Because his daddy told him that if he didn't get off his ass and start working, he was going to take him out of his inheritance. Take him out of the will. No inheritance for him. If he wanted to keep getting that money from him, keep getting his allowance, he had to work. He brought him over into this podunk little nowhere town. Bunch of rednecks around here, and well, he stayed mostly to himself. Didn't want to be with the riffraff. Thought himself better than everyone. Thought himself so much better than everyone around him. I mean, he came from a nice house in the city. 5 bedroom, 4 bathroom, basketball court, pool. He had a nice house out there, thanks to his daddy and his mama's inheritance. Stayed there until he was 20-something. Until his daddy told him, it's time to get to work. I need someone to run this plant while I go run something else. But there was this pretty little sweet thing. Thought himself so much better than everyone. She thought he never saw all the things she did, undermining him, his work. But there was something about her. So he started making some advances towards her, and well, when she didn't say no, well, he didn't ask any more questions. But there was something more about this woman. So he took his fancy old camera, long lens, and started entering the town, following Janie, seeing what she was all about. Taking pictures from afar. Taking pictures from up close. She wouldn't say nothing. She couldn't say nothing. He was paying for her daddy's cancer treatment. He had all the control in the situation. And that's when he found her diary. And he read it, curiosity, needing to know who this woman was, who she thought she was. Thinking she ran her daddy's company when it was him. And he read what she thought of him when he first got there, and then what she thought of him when, well, things got a little more heated between them. And then he read engrossed about her encounters with him, how it left her feeling. And so he kept it. Little nighttime reading. Help him get to sleep. And when Janie left that message over at their house, Johnny and Margaret's house. Johnny saw that Janie was leaving. He's going to pack up and go. He went over to Sinclair's house to find Janie there. She wasn't there no more. Bobby basically pushed him out, told him to get the fuck out of there. In the background, he saw the flowers, and after a little bit more pounding on the door, yelling for Janie, he went to go check McNair's house. He didn't like McNair because he never did anything for their family. Yeah, sure, Janie loved him, but he was a mooch. Janie was everything and he was nothing. So when he went over there and went to go visit, saw Janie was there, eyes puffy red, and he knew it was true. So Johnny tells, glaring at McNair, tells Janie, let's go, it's hunting season. Once more before you go, come on. I hear they don't hunt out there in the big city. And so they go out. And they go hunting. Except they don't get there. They stand outside of the truck, sitting in the back of the truck like they did when he was a kid. And Janie tells Johnny everything that happened. He's in charge of the family now. It's his turn to know the mistakes to not make. Don't make the same mistakes she did. Mama will be good off. Now that we don't have to worry about Daddy, now that you're old, with the money I'll be getting at the city, you don't have to worry, Johnny. You live your life. I'll help Mama. Johnny, stubborn, still envious of his sister. How could he still want to be the person Mama loved more? He was like, no, I'll support her. I'll support her. I'm also, I can also do this. And that's when Janie tells him, no, Johnny, no, don't you go into this with that mentality, Johnny. I did what I had to because I love my parents. I did this for you, Johnny. Bobby, that was so you didn't have to go through. You finished school, now you go to school, Johnny. And that's when Johnny realized it wasn't just rumors. It wasn't just jealous nobodies talking about his sister. It was true. Bobby Sinclair took advantage of his damn sister. And Bobby, they went hunting for a little bit, but Bobby's head was not in the game, and honestly, neither was Janie's. And that's when Janie slipped and fell, and she was fine, a little dazed, hit her head, and Johnny helped her, and Janie said, no, you go get her. I'm not going anywhere. And so she sat there with a hit on her head, while Johnny went off to go get some help. It was a long way back to the truck, and by the time he got back, Janie was gone. Janie wasn't there no more. Panicked, he looked around, but it's dangerous looking in the woods at the beginning of hunting season. So there's only so much looking he could do. And once he got home, he told his mama, I guess she must have left. Found someone she knew, and they helped her. I'm gonna go see in the hospital. She's there. Go to check with the doctor. But Johnny checked around all night, going around trying to see if anybody had seen Janie. No one had seen Janie. Someone had seen Janie, though. Bobby doesn't know much about this small town. Truly. He spent most of his time in the company or inside somebody else. So when Johnny came by yelling about Janie, Bobby couldn't find him, couldn't find her. Steel in his heart rate, heat in his eyes. But Johnny could. And so Bobby followed Johnny. And Johnny found Janie. And Johnny and Janie went off into the woods. Honestly, Bobby's lucky. Bobby had no idea it was hunting season. He was just happy he just figured that this was a popular place to be. Was able to park his car. No one really knew he was there. He overheard Johnny and Janie talking, and Janie talking about the things she was going to do when she left, and that did not sit well with Bobby. That did not sit well with Bobby at all. Until when they go off, he follows Johnny and Janie. As boring is what it was. Hearing the shots out in the pops in the background, and only Johnny and Janie in front of him. And then Johnny goes off, runs off somewhere, and that leaves Bobby and Janie alone. A familiar sight. So he walks up to Janie and they start talking. Start arguing. And Janie, still dazed, kind of out of it. Telling Bobby, "What are you doing here? Get out of here. I'm done with you. Go find someone else to take advantage of. I'm done, I'm out." Well, Bobby started quoting the diary. Bobby started getting closer and, Bobby took advantage of the situation. And Bobby wasn't going to let her leave. No. Bobby dragged her over to the creek and held her down while she fought him, tooth and nail. And Bobby stood up, cleaned his hands of her, and walked out of the woods like nothing had happened. Happy as an oyster. Johnny panicked about helping his sister. Noticed the truck, but didn't think much of it. It was hunting season after all. Everyone was ready to go hunting. And this was a fairly popular spot. So Johnny, when he was searching around, Johnny ended up at Francis's place. She wasn't there. Went to all the doctors, they wasn't there. He went over to Bobby's. Janie wouldn't go back to Bobby's, but he'd been everywhere else. Might as well go check Bobby. Went to go see Bobby. Bobby was smiling. Bobby never smiled. There was a look in his eye Johnny did not like. And Johnny asked him if he'd seen his sister, and Bobby said, yeah, he'd seen his sister. When? Oh, a few hours ago. Where? It's like, oh, out in the woods. You were out in the woods, Bobby. You were out in the woods? He was like, yeah, I was taking a little stroll on hunting season. Yeah, I hear it's nice out there. Then behind him, on the side table next to the couch, he sees a familiar cover. He knows that cover. He'd seen that cover. It's his sister's diary. She'd seen him writing in it 1,000,000 times when she was there visiting his mom and dad. And that's when Johnny saw red. He didn't know for sure, but he suspected. He pushed in. Johnny was young, but he worked. He worked outside. He's a small town folk. And Bobby was a soft, steady slicker. Gotten a little stronger since he'd been here, but he was no match for a young 18-year-old Johnny. He pushed his way into the apartment. Not that Bobby put too much of an effort in. And Johnny went in looking for his sister, and that's when he saw the shrine, all the photos. Some photos a brother shouldn't see on there. Saw the diary. Went up to Bobby. Where is she? Bobby with his unhinged smile. I don't know, probably halfway to the Pacific at this point. And with that, Johnny punched him. And punched him. And then Bobby started laughing and wouldn't stop laughing. And that's when Johnny got a hold of him. Started shaking him until he stopped laughing. And then the next morning, he finds out that his sister is dead. Sheriff comes by. Local hunter found her. And they were going to have to take some statements. Margaret told him that Johnny had gone hunting with them. Johnny wrote up the note real quick, showing that afraid of what was going to happen. He had just killed Bobby. He was going to be the first person they thought of, but he didn't do it. He didn't kill him. But then it came out, and he told people it was Bobby. Bobby killed her. But people had their thoughts already about Bobby and Janie. No one believed him. Not a soul believed him. Why would Bobby, someone who didn't care a lick about Janie, kill her, drown her in the middle of the woods? Bobby Sinclair in the woods? Please. Come up with a more believable lie next time, Johnny. You killed your sister. You were always jealous of your sister. Even his mom didn't know how to act about it. His mom seemed insensitive about the case as they investigated it, but really Margaret was gone. Margaret didn't have much fight left in her after Nelson died. Didn't have much time to recover after that. And finding out that her baby girl had died, well, might as well have sent her catatonic. Finding out that Johnny killed someone, well, that was the last nail in the coffin for poor Margaret Newsom. Left all alone, Johnny went off and told anyone and everyone he knew it was Bobby. Bobby killed her. No one believed him. Why would they? He killed Bobby. People saw him. He admitted to it. He said, I killed Bobby because that son of a bitch killed my sister. Likely story. They found a note saying that Margaret killed people, and honestly, maybe Bobby did kill Janie. But Bobby was already dead, and Johnny for sure killed Bobby, so I guess they'd never know. Johnny's still in prison. Of course, he killed a man. In cold blood, that's why he was so cold towards the case. Why wouldn't he be? He knew who did it, and everyone was blaming him. Francis left the country. Simon came back and had to take care of this mess. He saw what was in Bobby's apartment. He saw what he had. And there was more evidence in that truck that Bobby drove around. Blood. Hair. More evidence to be found about Janie, and Simon had to do what he had to do to maintain his empire. Made sure to clean up the place. Made sure to get the best lawyers to make sure Johnny went to prison right away. He was talking too much. And soon people were going to start looking to Bobby. They were already whispers, and he couldn't afford whispers. They started harassing Miss Margaret Newsom, sending her fake mortgage payments. Margaret didn't know any better. She was already halfway to heaven at that point. Didn't take much of a push. And she died. Natural causes, they say. Broken heart. Francis McNair. There was nothing left for him here. He left the country. He had family up in Sweden. Just gonna go back to Sweden, see what he could do up there. There was nothing left here for him. Not without Janie. And with that, we find out that Bobby Sinclair killed Janie Newsom, our poor, middle-aged, unemployed woman with a ruined reputation, looking to start a new life elsewhere and held back by an insecure man with truly not much going for him except money, which she needed to take care of her mama and papa and her little brother, who envied her, but at the end of the day avenged her death, even if no one else would believe him. In prison, but doesn't feel an ounce guilty for what he did. That son of a bitch deserved it. And with that, we have the end of our second game of Case Closed. This time featuring a Bobby Sinclair having killed a Janie Newsom. Prior to Johnny. Shout out to Johnny. Let me read what you guys were saying, because it was really funny. I think. Hold on. Let me read over here. Because I don't have a prescription on. So I have to squint to read. I have to get off your ass, Bobby. That's what I'm saying, brother. Get out of here. Yeah, she ran that shit. Could be her with Bobby having ruined her rep since nobody liked Bobby, yeah. Like her cutting off no content, not socialism, folks. She ran shit. She absolutely did. Dudes like Bobby like trying to take a woman like Janie down the peg. Absolutely. Turn her into a dependent wife who has to rely on him. Oof, get off your ass. Damn. Janie, I got this. He don't got this. God damn it, Bobby. Who else in this town is out here trying to fuck Bobby? Entire time, man, fuck Bobby. Don't need to report this. True. Honestly, if it weren't for Janie, they probably would. If it weren't for Simon, they needed, unfortunately, the large amount of jobs that logging company created was more valuable to them than some hussy who slept her way to the top. Which is total bullshit, but that's what the woman in church would say. Bobby slipped on the stairs and bumped his face on every step on the way down. True. Dang intense, right? Now you know why I needed a quick second to really think about the implications of this. Implications of where the story was gonna go there for a second. Dang intense. Power to Johnny. I did fudge it a little bit with the victim's DNA because I did fail that roll, but I genuinely did not know what to do with that. I was in a place where that was the last thing that needed to be explained, and I didn't know how to explain it. Just gonna tell you, gonna be honest with you, didn't know how to explain it. That's why we did she slipped and fell. That's kind of what I rolled for before, but let's not think about it. Although I didn't think it was the mom. I was ready for it to be the mom, but I didn't think it was the mom. So I'm glad that the dice rolled in favor for Margaret not being the one who done did it. I'm also glad I did not wait until... I waited until the very end to try and figure out what Janie did to destroy her reputation. The blood could have been at Bobby's place. True. True. I also had to explain some way that Bobby was going to overpower Janie, because I think Janie would absolutely wreck Bobby's shit if she were not injured in some way, shape, or form. Even then, I think it's real hard to believe. I think, and that's another reason why people didn't believe Johnny, is because Bobby is a soft doughboy. Meanwhile, Janie was running shit, moving things back and forth. Like Janie was no pushover. Let's just put it that way. So, I think that was another reason. But no, definitely the DNA could have been at Bobby's place, and that's how it got on Johnny. Bobby is bitch made. He absolutely is. Yeah, I didn't know where this was gonna go. Francis, there for a second, was starting to look a little sus, but luckily the dice were on his side. Same thing with Margaret. And then it left me with Johnny and Bobby. Johnny last time was our bad guy. I don't know if you guys remember who the last suspects were, but the picture that is Johnny is the picture Johnny did. It was the bad guy. He was also the brother of our victim, which is wild. Masterfully told ending. Thank you, Crit Witch. And another one solved by Grandma PB. I wonder if this will get me in the true crime podcasts. And shout out to my grandson Maxwell for doing all the Googles, all the Googling, and figuring out how to get into contact with some of the people from the city, from their small town. Something about the Facebooks? Johnny is a murderer, not the murderer, exactly. And I completely forgot about Bobby there for a little bit. Romantic partner. I forgot that he was killed. I remember that he was killed and he was indifferent towards Janie. So I had to I kept pushing on Johnny and Francis, because I was like, there was a part of me, I was ready for this to go anyway. I was ready for this to be a Johnny Margaret team up. With that last roll we did where the victim's belongings were not the belongings that Janie had at the time, I was ready for this to be a Johnny Bobby team up to kill Janie. For similar reasons, the emasculation for both of them. I was ready for it to be a team up there. I was ready for it to be a Johnny Margaret team up. I was ready for it to be a jealous partner in Francis, and the same way a jealous lover in Bobby. But man, Bobby's just kept being creepy, man. He rolled the victim's diary, then photos of the victim, and then victim's belongings. Come on, Bobby. Jesus Christ. What am I supposed to do here, Bobby, with this? And then when I rolled Francis McNair as a roommate, I was going to re-roll that picture. And then I was like, no. This is more interesting. Why was her roommate Francis McNair? But then I talked about it being the state police that came in to take care of this when we started talking about it being silenced. And it made sense because Bobby was killed. And the Sinclair family is a little, has a little bit of leverage here. So I was like, ooh, this could be fun. And so I was like, well, who would kill Bobby? Who was going to kill Bobby? And I was like, oh, Johnny. Johnny would kill Bobby. Of course, Francis would not. Francis is like my little sensitive art boy, is how I like to think of Francis. Like, he does little art stuff, which is why he's not an interesting guy for this case. And why he wasn't able to help Margaret or Nelson or Johnny or Janie in taking care of the family. But yeah, this was a fun one. I didn't know where this was going to go. I was really perplexed about how I was going to figure out what Janie did to ruin her reputation. When I rolled that, I was like, ooh, what did Janie do? At first, I was going to say Janie killed her father. But then the story just didn't go in that direction. It just didn't go towards Janie killing her dad. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this story of Case Closed, a cold case RPG by Wim Lawson. This game is on itch.io. It is free. Yeah, Francis is a romantic comedy protagonist stuck in a Lifetime movie. Exactly. Francis, unfortunately, was just a victim of small town politics, capitalism, and the atrocious medical system in the US. That's truly what everyone but Bobby was a victim of here in this story. But yeah, Case Closed is free, I believe. I think it's free over on itch.io. I guess I could click on it. We can find out. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's a name your own price. So it's not free. You could pay for it. There was an update. When did I play this game? They updated this in... Oh, you guys can see what I'm doing. Hi. Why can you guys see what I'm doing? Wait, why can you guys see what I'm doing? Where's my Roll20? Wait a second now. Where'd my Roll20 go? Hello? Where the hell did Roll20 go? I'm so confused right now. Yeah, it was a browser tab, but I opened the game in a separate tab is my confusion. It was in a whole other window. All I did was bring it onto my screen. Okay, hold on. So I have that. Oh, they did change this. They did change this since, like, this isn't the same, this isn't the same doc that I have. Almost, but not exactly. They've changed some stuff. They've updated. I wonder if they fixed... There was a rule in here that I had to do. That I had to write in. Because I did not know... Because there was no... Like... there was no rule about it. Like, it was just overlooked. And I went looking everywhere to see if Wim Lawson had like talked about it somewhere. And they hadn't. So I was stuck not knowing what the fuck. And I simply had to do it myself. One of these days, I actually plan for this to be a little bit different, of a different story. And I simply forgot. Smile. I was a little stressed out about other things. But yeah, so that was Case Closed, a Cold Case TTRPG by Wim Lawson. It is pay what you want over on itch.io. And I would highly recommend it. It's a nice little solo TTRPG to have on the side. It doesn't take too long to play. I obviously take a while to play it because we're on stream. But if it weren't for stream, it's probably like an hour and a half, 2-hour game. If you yourself are the one rolling for everything and just being like and thinking about it in your brain instead of speaking aloud. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's a fun game. And I hope you guys enjoyed it the second time around as much as you did the first one. I also hope you guys really enjoyed the Oh, I know what that is. I'm like, what is this transparency above what I'm looking at right now? There we go. Oh yeah. Who knows if hopefully you guys saw the dice behind me. There was dice in this cup behind me the entire time. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, so tomorrow we are going to be back with Kalino doing some 100 Days of Horror. That should be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. We are, I think, let's see, so 31st, that Monday, then 2 days next week. So that is 4 more episodes. So yeah, we should be in episode 60-ish tomorrow, where we will be in our 60s, I believe. I need to check in game. I just keep forgetting to do so. Because I don't know off the top of my head where it is in the F3 screen, and I don't want to waste time looking at it. We have so little daytime to travel. But what else? On Friday, no stream Friday, I'm going to be playing with friends. Probably, I don't know. I have to check in to make sure that our plans are still planned. But if they are, no stream on Friday for me. My friend Matt might stream, but I'm not going to stream. That'll be, if I do end up streaming, it'll be over on 8-Bit Abernathy, and you can always check on the Discord if you guys follow me on the Discord. If you got banned today and you're not a bot, feel free. I think you guys were all bots, as far as I could tell. But if you're not a bot and you would like to not be banned, feel free to put in an appeal, and I'll check it out. So many bots, man. So many freaking bots these past couple of days have been following. It's one of those where they'll follow. I'll look at like the viewer list to see if like they stick around, and then they go away. And they're supposed to, and this is my beef here with Twitch right now. I went through the effort of going through my settings, my moderation settings, and making sure that anyone who follows me has to have a verified email for and had an account older than a week to follow me. And none of these bots that followed today, of the 3, and I think the same for the ones who followed me yesterday and the day before, None of them had an account older than a week. So I have beef with Twitch right now. Because you can tell when you click on their name, you can tell how long they've been on the website. And I doubt they have a verified fucking email. Like, come on, Twitch, please. I'm begging you. Next week, next Monday, I'm going to be... Sorry, let me look at my schedule. Next Monday, we're doing 100 Days to Die Again with Kalino. Tuesday, no stream. I'm doing a session 0 with Wink Wink game. That's going to be starting the week after that. Then on the 23rd, we're doing the Almanac of Sanguine Past, another solo TTRPG. I'm looking forward to this one. This is a journal style game. It'll be my first of the like. It's based off of tarot cards and kind of documenting our way through reading through this almanac and speaking with others who are also werewolves. It's a werewolf game. To continue on our October of spooky solo TTRPGs. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Admittedly, I'm really sad I didn't get some tarot cards for it. Because I think the art style it's like the art style I really enjoy. And even then, I don't have time to do the tarot cards for Tangle Blessing, so that's not gonna have custom tarot cards either, which is sad, because that was gonna be the thing for this week or this month, but time just gets away. And that's why I instead decided to just do 3 TTRPGs. I figured that would make up for it. That'll be on the 23rd, next Wednesday, a week from now. Same time, same place. Different outfit, probably. Maybe I'll wear more shades for that one. Then on the 24th, we're gonna have... I'll make a calendar. I tried to make a calendar earlier. I just didn't finish it. Good night. I just didn't finish it. Then on the 25th, that Friday, I will be here probably. I probably won't have plans to do things with friends outside of stream. So on the 25th, I will be streaming. Then on the 27th, that's the finale for Praxis game for Dark Ages for Team Syracuse. Then 28th. The 28th is going to be a 100 Days to Die game. The 29th is going to be the first time it's going to be on somebody else's channel. I won't be here. I will be on, I almost said their name, another person's channel. I don't think they've announced it. You know what? I will check just for you guys to see if anything has been said about it. I don't think so, but I will check anyways. Darn, almost got it. Let's see. Nope. They last tweeted in September, so I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna check over here on this other social media app and see if they said anything on this other social media app. I don't even know if they have this other social media app, but I'll check anyways. They are much more active on this one. Let me see if they say anything. I don't think so. I haven't been tagged in anything, so I'm assuming no. No, they have not said anything, therefore I will not say anything. I just simply think I just don't want to say anything I'm not supposed to. So unless it's expressly said by somebody else, I never say anything. This one might just be a surprise. This one might just be on the day. I'll post it over on the Discord. It is going to be the same time as everything, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Tuesdays. Although we're only going to do the 20, as far as I know right now. It's going to start on the 29th. And we're skipping the 5th because that's election day. And someone's doing something on that day also. And then the 12th is when we start up again. And then it's going to be 5 to 7 weeks, as far as I know. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to be honest with you, probably going to end sometime in January. But if we're lucky, maybe in September. But that's going to be the 29th. The 30th, I have Tangled Blessings. That's going to be the last Wednesday of solo TTRPGs in a row. Tangled Blessings, it's a Dark Academia Magical Academy game. That's, again, another like journaling-esque type game based off of tarot cards. So that's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Because we're going to bring a little bit of a twist to what Dark Academia means, as opposed to looking at it from a lens of a Eurocentric lens. I want to bring the tenets of Dark Academia into a Mexican lens, to the best of my ability and research capabilities. Then on the 31st, it's going to be the last day for 100 Days of Horror with Kalino. So that's the plan for October. Pretty much a stream every day except weekends. And weekends, it's like sometimes why. I will have a stream sometimes in October, on the weekend. But weekday wise, almost every day is packed. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying this October and these streams. If you haven't, feel free to let me know. I can always pivot to other things. Or if you would like to see more of something, I would always be happy to do more of anything. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed Case Closed, a Cold Case TTRPG, Take 2. I should have checked the itch.io. Although I didn't really check the rules before I started. I knew them more or less. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the new technology where I now can like pull something up and random roll on it without having to put too much effort into it. Although for the other games, I'm gonna do the same thing, but it's gonna be like how I did, like here, cause of death, shooting. Here's the image of the shooting. It's randomly rolled. Then like, post, bam, unorganized, bam, woods, bam, victim file, bam, oh, no, bam, picture. Like, that's a technology I've spent a lot of time working on this month, which is why I haven't been able to do much. So, I hope you guys are enjoying all the fun things I've been learning. And yeah, so tomorrow we're back with 7 Days to Die. And then I'm going to be working nonstop to get the Sanguine Pass of the Almanac of Sanguine Pass done and ready by Wednesday. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, nights. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate, unlike fucking Bobby Sinclair. What a bitch. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Oh, I also hope you guys enjoyed the glasses. I found them in my bag. And by my bag, I mean, I think I might have worn them for Trooper's thing. I found them when I was looking for, because I know I had like fun looking glasses when I was a kid that I never wore because I was too self-conscious, but now I'm an adult and I no longer have those same holdups as I did when I was a kid. So I grabbed them to see if they fit, and they did, and I was like, yo, let's go. And so yeah, so that's me. I hope you guys again enjoyed it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. Thank you to all my lurkers. Thank you to my followers who watch the ads. Thank you to those who don't watch the ads. Thank you to everyone who comes to just watch these. I have a lot of fun working on the solo TTRPG stuff, and like I said, it's just a nice little outlet for creativity. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. Makes me more active in the story I'm telling, and I get a lot of joy out of out of things. Wow, things are so blue now. Holy, everything is so blue. Dabba dee dabba die. Holy. I don't know how people wear sunglasses and stuff when they stream so much. That shit is wild. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it all. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you to the subs. Without you guys, I wouldn't know what to do when it came to a lot of stuff. So I appreciate all of you for stopping by, hanging out, supporting me and my wild endeavors to do some fun stuff on stream. And pretty much justifying the amount of time I take to do a lot of these things. So much appreciation. Really appreciate you guys for all of that. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your days, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hold on, I've lost OBS.